What's up everybody, UAA here once again bringing you another playthrough. This time I'm doing a underrated Super Nintendo game, at least in my opinion. Not many people have heard of this game and I really like it. It's Disney's Goof Troop on the Super Nintendo. Now I have a lot of fond memories of this game. When I was a kid I would always play this with members of my family. Pretty much everyone in my family liked this game. You know, we always had these disagreements on which games we would play together because certain people didn't like certain games. Like, my sister didn't like Donkey Kong Country and the sequels because it was too hard and things like that. But this was the one game that everyone seemed to really enjoy. Everyone would play this. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this game. Unfortunately, none of them wanted to play this with me for this playthrough, so I'm going to be playing it solo. The game can be played either with one player or two player in a co-op way. It's sort of, it's kind of like an arcade game. The levels they're really short and it has that arcade feel where the second player can just hop in and press start, or if you were in the arcade it would be put in a quarter. You know, that kind of feel to it. And I really like that. I kind of like the arcade feel of some games. But anyways, this is Goof Troop. You have a choice of two playable characters, either Max or Goofy from the cartoon series. I really did like the cartoon series as a kid. I especially liked the two movies. I forgot what they're called. Or maybe it's just one. I think there's multiple movies. I think it's like a very goofy movie or something like that. I don't know. I really liked those movies as a kid. And that's probably why I got this game. I don't quite remember getting this game, but I do remember really enjoying it. It was one of my favorites, and it's still one of my favorite games to play co-op, just because it's so fun. When you play co-op, it's two players on the same screen, and you always have to be on the same screen. So if one player decides to leave the room, then you both will be put into the next room. And there's a lot of times in this game where teamwork will really benefit you. It's one of those games where if you can master it with two players, you can complete it incredibly quickly. And that's one of the things I really like about this game. The more you play it, the better you get at it, and then you can do speed runs or just the general sense of feeling like you're working well as a team. I don't know, it's just the feeling I get when I play this game. It's just a great game. It's a great family game. It's a fantastic game. I love this game. And as far as I know, there are no sequels of any type. As far as I know anyway, I haven't checked, but yeah, I love this game. It's a great game. Anyways, here's the first level. It is the beach area. You just landed on the pirate island. Oh, I forgot to describe the plot. So basically, what are their names? Pete and PJ, I think? They get kidnapped by the pirates, and Max and Goofy go to save them. I think that's the plot. I never really cared about the plot because, I don't know, the game is just so fun that I just don't care about the plot. It's not a very plot-heavy game anyway. So basically, you just go to the pirate island, and you gotta save them. The game is really short, like I said. There's only 5 levels, so this playthrough won't be very long. But I still love this game, even though I wish it was a little bit longer, but 5 levels is okay by me. It's not too short, but it's not... I wish it was longer. If you see in the top left corner of the screen, you have all of your status icons and stuff. You have your lives, and then you have items. I think there's 5 different items you can get in the game. There's the hook shot, which allows you to grab items from a distance, as well as kill some enemies, but most enemies it will just stun them. There's the shovel, which will allow you to dig in certain holes. There's the small key, which allows you to open some types of locks, but not others. And then there's the big key, which allows you to open the door that usually leads to the boss. So whenever you see the big key, make sure you grab it. It's much like the Legend of Zelda with the big key. You gotta get to the boss that way. This game, it also has that Legend of Zelda perspective, you know, the top down, and it kind of feels like a Legend of Zelda game in a way. I mean, you don't have a sword or anything, but just your movement and stuff, it feels like a Zelda game, sorta. The other items I forgot to mention were the bell, and if you ring the bell, enemies will be attracted towards you, which is only useful in certain situations where you can lure them next to a block, and you can push that into them and kill them that way. Then there's the candle, and the candle allows you to see in dark rooms, so whenever there's a dark room, make sure you grab a candle. There's usually one right next to the dark room, so you don't really need to worry about carrying one around. And I think that's all the items. There's also a bunch of items you can pick up in the game to increase your health and stuff like that. There's the types of fruits, and they allow you to have an extra hit. There's the cherries, which give you 1 heart. I don't have any hearts right now, but they're right next to the items when I do get them. The cherries are worth 1 heart, and the bananas, I think, are worth 3. So basically, whenever you have a certain amount of hearts, you get an extra hit. Doesn't matter how many hearts you have, you'll always have 1 extra hit. However, if you manage to collect 7 hearts, then you get an extra life, which is always nice. There's the red crystal, which gives you an extra life, which is always nice. And then there's the blue crystal, which allows you to continue the game if you run out of lives. So make sure you pick up a blue crystal. Even though this game isn't particularly hard, it's nice to have just in case. I think the blue crystal also allows, like if you're playing 2-player and the second player runs out of lives, I think it allows them to get back in the game. I'm pretty sure. I don't quite remember. It's been a long time since I played this co-op. I wanted to play this co-op in live, but just no one wanted to play it with me. That's fine, I don't care. I had fun playing this by myself. And so since there's 2 playable characters in the game, I am making this playthrough where I switch off between the characters. So first level I'll play as Goofy, then I'll play as Max, and I'll switch between the 2. There's only 5 levels, so you see Goofy 3 times and Max twice. At the end of every stage, just like pretty much every other video game in existence, there is a boss. This is the first one. It is the Red Pirate Gang. Basically, they will come out of their holes and throw a bunch of items at you. Some of them you can catch and throw back at them, others you can't. The barrels you can catch and throw, and it's a simple projectile item. The bombs you can catch and throw, but they will explode after a certain amount of time, so make sure you get rid of them if they're about to explode. And they also throw the spinies. You can't catch those, so just avoid them. The boss is really easy. In the corners of the room, there are a few extra barrels, so you can grab those and throw it at the boss. It's pretty simple. You shouldn't worry about that boss. And if you're playing a co-op, you can destroy that boss really quickly. I wonder how quickly you could do it. Like, I wonder if there's a co-op tool-assisted speedrun of this game. I would really like to watch that. Maybe I'll look that up after this. So, in between every level, you get these cutscenes, or they're not really cutscenes, they're just still images with some text, and they tell you a little bit more about the story, and, well, it's not like anybody cares about the story to this game. It's just a lighthearted game. It's not very story-heavy, but if you want the story, then it's there. And also in between every level, you get this nice map of the island, and it basically shows you how far you are in the island. It shows you how many stages there are and what you're going to be going to. I think it's cool. I really like those, the maps of like your progress in the game, like that. It's very similar to Super Castlevania 4, with in between levels it shows you where you are and what you're going to be encountering in the next level. I think it's pretty cool. Although this one isn't very spectacular compared to the one in Super Castlevania 4, but that doesn't matter. Max and Goofy, they both have their distinctive traits. They're kind of different from each other, but they play mostly the same. Whenever you throw barrels and plants at enemies. With Goofy, it only takes 1 hit to kill most enemies. But for Max, most enemies take 2 hits. Also, when you're holding an item, you run much slower as Max than when Goofy is holding an item. But when you're just walking around, Max is much faster than Goofy. Much faster. I know as a kid, I really liked playing as Max way more than playing as Goofy. But now, I like playing as Goofy. I think Goofy is just the better character. I don't know, as a kid I always liked Max, but now I like Goofy. I like the stronger, or I like how he's stronger, and I don't really mind that. I don't mind that he's slower than Max. I just don't mind that much. I would much rather have the stronger throwing ability. So, Disney's Goof Troop, it has a lot of puzzles in it. If you were paying attention in the first level, you saw a few rooms where there were these block puzzles, and you had to push the blocks onto these switches in order to open the gate or the door. And pretty much throughout the entire game, we're going to be seeing these puzzles numerous times, and some of them are actually pretty hard. I know some of them, as a kid, they would take me up to a half hour to figure out. Not so much anymore, because I've kind of memorized them over the years, but there's some really tough puzzles, especially the very last one in the game. It's really hard. You'll see when we get there. Although I think in this playthrough, I think I get it in like very quickly. Like my first try, I got it. Because if you do mess up on the puzzle, you can always exit the room and re-enter, and the puzzle will be reset. And I think I get it very quickly in this playthrough, which was surprising, because normally I had a lot of trouble with that puzzle. With this room, there's some enemies that like to push the blocks and mess up your progress. As soon as you can, try to kill them, just so they don't mess up your puzzle, because they can hit the blocks any direction they want, and they could really mess up your puzzle. So make sure you kill them. Just pushing a block into them will kill them, so yeah, not too hard. Just try to trap them, and if you mess up, then just exit the room and re-enter, and the puzzle will be reset. I always liked how with these cannons, if there was 2 of them, you could always get the second cannon to fire on the first cannon. But whenever there's just 1 cannon, just stand right in front of it with your arms held up, and the cannon it'll just shoot bombs right into your hands, and you can just throw it right back. It's very simple. It's kind of a design flaw, like a problem with their AI, but I don't really mind it that much. In each level, we're introduced to new types of enemies. In the first level, we basically just saw blue pirates and some animals like the bee, if you saw that earlier. In level 2, we are introduced to the green pirates, which like to throw swords at you. I think they're also slightly stronger, because the blue pirates, they only take 1 hit with Max, but the green ones take 2, I think. Whenever you see a patch of dirt like this, make sure you grab the shovel. There's usually one nearby. Make sure you grab the shovel and start digging. You can find all kinds of goodies like cherries, bananas, red crystals, and I think you can find blue crystals. I don't remember if you can find blue crystals, but I know you can find cherries, bananas, and red crystals. Most of the time, the dirt patches are really small, but there is one dirt patch which is huge. It's like the size of an entire room. It's really cool. We'll be getting to that in the next video. I think it's in level 3, so we're at level 2 right now, in case you can't count or whatever. One interesting thing about hook shots is that you can take them and you can grapple them across the pit, like on these 2 hooks you can see right here. It does get rid of your hook shot, but it's necessary to get across some pits, so make sure you figure out how to do that. I think that's really cool. Also, the final enemy we are introduced to in level 2 are these green rolling enemies. Now, I really hate these enemies because you often get trapped in a long corridor, and there's not much you can do except just take the hit and run. Here I'm trying to stun the enemies and push them back, but I'm not successful. And then he gets me. I've never really liked the rolling enemies. I mean, in this room, it kind of looks like it would be a simple puzzle. Just get them to roll at you and then hide in the little openings. And then just run past it. But I find that they get stuck on, like, corners and such. So it makes it harder than it should be. Anyways, here's our second boss. It is a giant bulldog that breathes fire. It has a variety of attacks. It'll often throw just torches at you. Just run around to dodge those, no problem. It has a flamethrower attack, which is really easy to dodge. You can either go in the corners of the room, or you can go up towards where he is. However, once he's done with the flamethrower attack, he will try to get you out of there. He'll just swing and make sure you don't stand up at the top, like right there. Once you run out of barrels in the room, 2 natives will come and throw barrels to you. So you'll never run out of barrels, don't worry about that. Anyways, I'll see you in part number 2.